Hello and welcome to Energy. Coming up on today's show, you'll meet the newest member of O'Fallon Theater Works, see how the Parks and Recreation Department is getting ready for their biggest Christmas display ever, and learn how you can help those in need this holiday season. This and more coming up on Energy. There's a big change taking place within the Parks and Recreation Department. We have one moving on and another moving in.
The City of O'Fallon will soon be losing someone who was vital to the growth of our Parks and Recreation Department and helped make O'Fallon one of the best places to live in America. Cindy Springer began her career with the city 35 years ago.
When I started here, there was less than 10,000 people. We had 3 parks. And I was the only recreation person, and most of the recreation programs were for senior citizens. So when I look at it from the recreation side, there's a lot of new things that we're still doing today that I started 30-some years ago. Anything from all of our youth sports to our adult sports. We pretty much had tennis leagues and senior programs. We had a 4th of July, and it was here at Civic Park. We started bringing in national entertainment in about the mid-90s, and our first group was the Guess Who. And I remember to this day the police chief at that time totally freaking out because he thought we were bringing in the Who. That would have been great even today, but no, it was the Guess Who, but that was our first national entertainment, so that was exciting. And then probably the other program event type thing was Celebration of Lights. I created that. It came from the idea of one of our Parks Board chairmen at that time, Sue LePage. And they pushed and they pushed, and I finally caved, and so we developed Celebration of Lights. So from a programming side, those are some of my favorite memories. From the park side, like I said, when I came here, there were 3 parks. We had Civic, Westoff, and Fort Zumwalt. And obviously we've got a lot more parks now. I think we've upgraded all of them. They look a little more like they're in the 21st century instead of later. But I think my favorite one, I have 2, and that's going to be O'Day. That's going to always be one of my favorite parks, but also the restoration of Lake Wetzel that's going on in Fort Zumwalt Park right now. I think people are really going to be excited about when they get a chance to see that.
Throughout Cindy's 35-year career, there have been some fun and very memorable moments.
The first year that we did Celebration of Lights, that was kind of like the blind leading the blind. We really had no idea what we were doing, how many lights it would really take to do any of this. So back then, safety was not as in the forefront as it is now. So we had some very creative ways of getting lights up in the trees, and it worked. The golf cart I get at the 4th of July, I kid you not, I think they always found the slowest one just to give me. And my kids would tell me that, Mom, could you ever get a golf cart that's fast? I finally did last year. I think I had the fastest one around. But I think you just have to find the fun in whatever you do. And that's what makes your job exciting.
For Cindy, the relationships will be her greatest achievement and will be hard for her to forget.
I have made a lot of friends over the years, and some of those are staff and they're still here, some are new staff, but a lot of it is the patrons, and you still see some of the patrons that we had years ago participating in programs. I see kiddos that I used to have in preschool programs and whatnot. We've now either hired them to work somewhere, or we're now teaching their preschool age kiddos in whatever the program might be. But I think you just see, it just keeps transitioning on.
The next director has big shoes to fill. What advice does Cindy have for her successor?
Keep things moving forward. You always have to take care of what you have, but you also have to know what are the trends out there, what are your residents wanting, and always looking at creative ways to be able to provide that. I would just like to say I appreciate the opportunity the City of O'Fallon gave me 35 years ago. I moved here. I can assure you that I was very young and not married, and the last thing on my mind was staying here. I figured you come for a few years, you put in your time, and then you move on. But O'Fallon has grown so tremendously. It's been like a new community every so many years. So I appreciate the fact that O'Fallon gave me the opportunity and allowed me to grow, and hopefully I gave them what they were looking for too. So thank you.
The renovation project in Fort Zumwalt Park is quickly coming together.
Fort Zumwalt Park is one of the most beautiful parks in O'Fallon. Picnic areas, a playground, a frisbee golf course, and a lake that recently went through a facelift.
There have been a lot of changes made to Lake Wetzel through this process. So the lake originally had a lot of silt buildup in it. So we have 2 forebays on the lake where the 2 little creeks run into the lake. And these forebays are designed to catch the silt, dirt, debris, stuff that flows into the lake. So this helps prevent that from getting into the lake. Other changes we made to the lake was add an accessible sidewalk that goes all the way around the lake. It's about 1/3 of a mile. In addition to that, when you drive through the park, you'll notice all the asphalt through the park has been replaced and redone. It's beautiful. The old asphalt was getting in pretty bad shape. We've also added some boardwalks that get you around the lake that give you kind of a scenic overlook, that get you right up near the lake, and a good view of the forebays as well. Today we're stocking the lake. It's time to get fish in the lake. The lake has started to fill back up with water. We're putting bluegill in there, red ear sunfish, golden shiners, and some catfish. It's about 3,500 fish that we're putting in right there. And then we're adding some fathead minnows that kind of keep the fish population alive. From there, you won't be able to fish this lake for about 2 to 3 years. We are trying to increase that as much as we can with adding a little bit larger fish, but we need to see these fish start to reproduce. We've been working with Missouri Department of Conservation, who's been really helpful in giving us some guidelines on what types of fish to include, and they're going to help us look year after year how those fish population are growing and reproducing, and that'll tell us when it's time to fish this lake again. Lake Wetzel will be open to the public mid-January once Celebration Lights is over and we've had time to clean the park up. From there, we're going to do a nice ribbon cutting this spring once the weather warms up, and the public will really be able to come out and enjoy what we have to offer here. From a parks perspective, we are very excited about this project. I think the residents are really going to enjoy it. Residents who've been kind of coming through and just checking in on the project have had a lot of good feedback for us. This really has the wow factor that the residents of O'Fallon deserve.
O'Fallon Theater Works is excited to announce their newest member, Sean Seifert.
O'Fallon Theater Works welcomes a new director, Sean Seifert. Sean attended Southeast Missouri State, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in fine arts. His love of theater and directing in particular began in high school. He directed some one-act plays, did some acting, and soon after knew what his career choice was going to be. Working for a theater company is a dream come true for Sean.
It feels really cool. I mean, I grew up in the St. Charles area. I came over in O'Fallon all the time, and working for the city is kind of surreal, but being able to work on a play and something theatrical for the city really, I guess I really don't know how to describe it. It makes me feel very accomplished and hopeful that I can spread some kind of message for the city,
Sean's directorial debut will be in March of next year, a sci-fi play, The Man from Earth, based on a 2007 film of the same name, written by Jerome Bixby and directed by Richard Shankman.
It's really interesting. When they first told me the show that we were doing, I was like, I've never heard of that. So I went home and immediately read or watched the movie online, and I was like, this is really interesting. And it's not one of those movies that's big and glitz, glamour, effects in movies or anything. It's just, it really focuses on, I think, human conditioning and what we choose to believe and what we choose not to believe.
Sean's directorial style lends itself to the personalities of his actors.
I would say I'm a very personal director. I really appreciate my actors to be in tune with themselves, their bodies, their voice, as well as the castmates among them. I like to have my rehearsals very relaxed, very, there's some structure to it, but everyone feels like they're going at their own pace and that we're all doing the same amount of work.
Make sure to check out Sean's first production with O'Fallon Theater Works coming this March, the 20th through the 22nd and the 27th through the 29th. For additional information about O'Fallon Theater Works and future productions, please visit o'fallon.mo.us/parksandrec or visit O'Fallon Theater Works Facebook page.
The holiday season is fast approaching, and the Parks and Recreation Department is working hard bringing the Christmas spirit to life.
Work continues in Fort Zimwalt Park for O'Fallon's annual Celebration of Lights. Bringing this festive display to life takes weeks to get ready.
We'll start working on Celebration of Lights mid-September. The park's full-time staff comes over the beginning of October, and we'll work every day 40 hours a week from October until the week of Thanksgiving right before we open.
Fort Zimwalt Park is 47.5 acres. That is a lot of park to cover with lights.
Thousands. We spool the lights each year and save them so that we can reuse, and then every year we also order about 11,000 new strands, but that's in addition to what we already have in-house that we've kept from previous years as well.
Keeping things interesting each year, they do change things up a bit.
We try to move it around so you're not getting the same experience every year. We always add at least 2 to 3 new scenes, and we might rotate some out and bring them back years later. But we are always looking and trying to be creative to find new things that we can add.
Creating this magical wonderland is hard work, but also a fun time for staff who participate in building scenery.
We have some very talented staff that comes in. We have somebody that's our carpenter that builds, the giant castle we had last year. We have a full-size tractor that we're building for this year. And then we have a person that's an artist that does all of our characters that we build every year.
The annual Celebration of Lights draws people from all over the metropolitan area to view this magical display. Some 9,000 vehicles come through the park each year. Another great way to enjoy the Celebration of Lights is with the old-fashioned holiday stroll.
This year's old-fashioned holiday stroll will be December 9th and 10th. You can choose to come either night. On that night, you're allowed to walk through the park and see the scenes up close. We'll have hot chocolate and cookies for sale. You can also stop by Santa Land and see Santa and do a craft. And then we'll end each night with fireworks over the lake.
The Tourism and Festivals Department also works with nonprofits, offering them opportunities to participate in the Celebration of Lights.
If you're a nonprofit O'Fallon group, we welcome you to come in. The requirements include that you have to build a scene in the park and maintain it throughout the Celebration of Lights season. We do profit sharing with them on that. They are required to work at least 2 gate nights where they'll get paid to work the gate nights. And then they are the actual vendors that are selling things on the old-fashioned holiday stroll, so that's another way for them to earn money for their organization.
The Tourism and Festivals Department offers other great ways to enjoy the Celebration of Lights through train rides and horse-drawn carriage rides. Reservations are needed in advance, so don't miss out reserving your spot. Celebration of Lights will open the day after Thanksgiving and will run through December 30th with the exception of Christmas Day. For more information, please visit o'fallon.mo.us/parksandrec.
The Parks and Recreation Department is helping those in need during the holiday season. The Parks and Recreation Department is collecting hats, gloves, and scarves for the Giving Tree. Items collected will be donated to the Salvation Army. They're also joining the Cornucopia of Care food drive in collecting donations of non-perishable food and personal care items for area food pantries. And spreading a little holiday cheer for children, they are collecting toys for the Fire Truck O Toy campaign, a 501(c) nonprofit charity that donates 100% of the toys and monies to purchase toys for children in area hospitals. Donations will be accepted at the O'Fallon Municipal Center Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and during regular business hours at the Renaud Center. Canned or boxed food items will also be collected at the Celebration of Lights Wednesday through Sunday, offering a $1 discount per vehicle. For more details, please visit renaudcenter.com or o'fallon.mo.us/parksandrec. It's time to check in with this week's community calendar.
Discover the stories behind historic Lemp Mansion. Enjoy a guided tour through the 2 floors of the mansion with facts of the Lemp family and their brewing empire. Lunch is provided at the Lemp Mansion. After lunch, the group will move to Anheuser-Busch for a guided tour of the brewery. Here you will see the 7-step brewing process and the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales at the historic stables built in 1885. The deadline to register is Friday, January 3rd. Kids have a great time over the holidays playing games, making crafts, finding new friends, and cooking up a little fun. No before care or after care is provided. Campers must bring sack lunches and drinks daily. No refrigeration is available. For more information, please call 636-474-2732. Ready for winter? Head to the Renaud Center for an indoor version of this cold weather pastime. Kids ages 5 to 12 can join the friendly snowball fight in the gym, where there will be plenty of obstacles to hide behind as you make your way across the room with an arsenal of cotton snowballs to throw at each other. Free registration is required. The Renaud Center is happy to announce that they will be bringing their youth soccer league indoors with the Renaud Futsal League. Futsal is a variant of soccer and played on a basketball court using a smaller, low-bouncing ball. Games are played using a 5x5 small-sided format during 2 20-minute halves. Teams are encouraged to register early as space is limited. For more information, visit renaudcenter.com.
That's all for today's show. Thank you for joining us. See you next time on Energy.